two squares. One is smaller than the other because of perspective, making further objects appear smaller. But if you follow the small square, you'll see that it moves to the other side, before eventually moving to the front of the cube and becoming the big square. Now watch the tesseract again. The little cube, because of 4D perspective,
Boys and girls, sound this word out. Get ready. What word? Deal. Yes, deal. Read these words the fast way. Get ready. Play. Yes, play. Get ready. Must. Yes, must. Let's read these words the fast way without making a mistake. Get ready. Kite. Yes, kite. Get ready. Pit. Yes, pit. Get ready. Seal. Yes, seal. Get ready. Play. Yes, play. Get ready. Must. Yes, must. On page 153.
This is you, or let's say better yet, this is our ancestor. If they're standing on Earth, this line here would indicate our horizon. And every day, they would look up and they would see this instead of our sun that we have today.
See, listen, if you're going to say that you believe in Jesus, it's not just the concept that you believe in a God or creator. If you say that you believe in Jesus, you're saying that you believe in every character that's in the Bible. If you believe Jesus, you believe in every character and every story by extension that's in the Bible. Okay? So let's make this short and quick. There is no evidence of any God, of any kind, anywhere. There is no Jesus. I want you to think about that. What if there's no Jesus? There's no Moses. There's no David. Let's go one step. Let's say there is no Jesus. What does that mean? Think about it. Think about it. There was no Jesus. Okay, now what is this? This would be Saturn. This would be the planet Saturn. Now understand, the planet Saturn actually was a sun. The planet Saturn was a sun. Now what I'm proposing to you is a conjunction between not only Saturn, represented by the large circle, but we have Mars in the center, which is the small circle. Now in between Saturn and Mars would be Venus. Okay? You know she's there because all of these lines here are actually the glow from Venus. Keep in mind, as Venus traverses in between Saturn and Mars, Venus was a comet, that glow or reflection off of Saturn, indicated by these lines here, okay, would change throughout time. Throughout time, that light will change relative to the thinking that there is no Jesus, there is no God, the first thing that would come to mind to me is then we had better figure out this death issue. How do we not die? Now, I'm suggesting to you that the creators of the God concept, okay, or certainly the ones who mastered it, they're far, far ahead of us in figuring out transhumanism, in figuring out how to not die. If we're under the impression that all of us poor, not just black people, but all global poor, if we're going to be privy to this information, we're fooling ourselves.
Do you see the squiggly line that I have here? That would be plasma periodically falling off of Mars, and it would look as though it's falling down to Earth, where in actuality, it on this axis, okay, it would be going to the North Pole. Okay? And periodically, our ancestors would see this plasma / lightning storm, right? Electromagnetic and plasma, Venus actually, that would be plasma. However, let's just say matter. That would fall. It would appear to fall. Now, I'm suggesting to you that this is your Mount Olympus, this is Valhalla, this is the Stairway to Heaven, this is your Tower of Babylon. All through history, pick a continent. There is a story somewhere about a ladder of some sort, okay, or a mountain, or a mound. I'm going to go ahead and say pyramid, okay. However, it led to, that is where God lived. On top of that mountain. Okay, let's move on. Keep in mind also that the sun that we have today actually would have been, okay, this is before the Earth's tilt. We do understand that the Earth is tilted. There's several theories as to how it got that way, but we do understand that we're spinning on a tilt. Now, our sun that we have today, which the ancestors would not have seen, but they would have seen, is the glow. Okay? Because the sun is actually below the horizon that the ancestors would never see. But they would see the sunshine, okay? That would be rising above the horizon. Alright, now what would that do to Saturn? It would give Saturn a crescent, right? Because our glow is coming from below the horizon, shining underneath Saturn, and now we have our crescent. Now, right off the bat, what do we see? What do we notice? Okay, here let me add some plasma. I'm sure actually, because the planets were so much closer, and there's no pollution or reflecting light, you know, coming from Earth, the ancestors would see we couldn't even imagine how elaborate, beautiful, and frightening this would be daily. It would certainly have been God in their eyes. Okay? Now, we've got some particles here in the plasma, right? Now remember, we've got also Venus, which is our star, or starlight, certainly. What does that look like to you? That's obviously a Christmas tree, Christianity's Christmas tree. Yes, the sun is below the horizon. The sunlight is reflecting above the horizon onto Saturn, creating our crescent. Okay? It also, because Mars periodically has plasma fallout. Actually, if you look at Mars now, you can see the devastation. Yes? Okay. Mars, the god of war. We'll get to that. But there's our Christmas tree. Also, if it's not obvious, it's also a crescent moon and a star of Islam. So there's our Christianity and our Islam. Okay? Now Saturn itself, I'll show you, certainly in this video, has a hexagon at its North Pole. Which of course would be our Judaism. So we've got Christianity, Islam, and Judaism represented by Saturn, all in this image. And this image is represented all over the world long before any Bible was created. I want you to understand also that Saturn is depicted always, since ancient time, as Father Time. So you can imagine, as the day goes by and the Earth spins, that the crescent, the yellow here, crescent, right, would turn. Yes? It would turn. And we'd see our crescent, moon, and star. You would also see periodically Mars literally looks like the needle of a hand on a watch. Now I'm sure that that's just a coincidence that this really looks like a modern timepiece. However, I'm going to tell you or suggest to you that if the planets weren't as stable as they are today, okay, then this would be the first stable image that you can tell time by. This would be the first we tell time by the solar system. And this probably, in an unstable universe, would be the most stable timepiece. Hence, Father Time. Also, Saturn was the god of agriculture. His symbol was the scythe, or what have you. Or the sickle, is it? The scythe? Whatever the Grim Reaper holds, that's the symbol for Saturn. However, as wicked or demonic as that sounds, it was actually because during the Golden Age, which was the time when Saturn was the sun, it was known as the Golden Age, right? And he was the god of agriculture because it was the time of plenty, right? Until Saturn fell, or I would say fell off our axis, tilted our Earth, and that turned into Satan fell, right? Today Saturn has, I think, 18 moons. Most likely back then he had more, because Saturn's also known for eating his children. So as Saturn's moving into the position that it is today, it has moons crashing into it. And our ancestors, of course, mistaken that as Saturn, basically went wild, started eating his children, turned into Satan. When he left, the earth fell off its axis. Very easy to understand that, but what did that cause? It caused a flood. It caused a flood. Okay, so we have God, the original God, the Father, fell from earth, caused a flood, killed off humanity, ate his children. He was Father Time. There's devastation. Until what? Until the Son of God is reborn.
Before I get to Jesus, but this is what I'm saying, okay? Picture Saturn. Saturn pulls away from the position that it was back then to the position that it is now, very simply. When it did that, okay, it fell from the heavens as Satan fell from the heavens. Satan was the morning star, which would be the sun, just as Jesus is the morning star, which is another sun. But we'll get back to that. When Satan fell, it tilted Earth off of its axis. It caused a flood. Very simple. Very simple. That's certainly far easier to believe than these fairy tales that are brainwashing billions, as others are in space. In space. Let me ask you, what is NASA for?